Alex Turner stared out the viewport as the transport ship approached Galactic Station Epsilon 9. The massive ring-shaped structure gleamed against the backdrop of stars. His stomach twisted with a mix of excitement and fear. He never expected to be here. 6 months ago, Earth had made first contact with the Galactic Coalition. And now, Alex was the first human assigned to the station. Not because he was special. In fact, it was the opposite. His Space Academy scores were average. His physical tests were unremarkable. He was chosen because officials thought he represented an average human specimen for the aliens to meet. The transport docked with a gentle thud. Alex grabbed his small bag and followed the blinking lights to the arrival area. The air smelled strange, a mix of unfamiliar scents that made his nose wrinkle. The gravity felt slightly off, calibrated for species from lighter worlds. A blue-skinned alien with 4 arms approached. "Welcome to Epsilon 9, Human Turner. I am Administrative Officer Zeal. I will show you to your quarters." Alex nodded, trying not to stare at the various alien species moving through the station. Some floated rather than walked. Others had too many limbs to count. He felt instantly out of place. The station houses representatives from 57 worlds, Zeal explained as they walked. "You are the 58th species to join us. Are there any others like me?" Alex asked, hoping there might be some familiar faces. "No, you are the first and only human currently assigned here. More will arrive in approximately 6 standard months." Alex's heart sank. Half a year alone among aliens. Great. His quarters were small but functional. The bed was too large and oddly shaped, designed for a body unlike his own. The atmospheric controls were labeled in symbols he didn't understand. Zeal handed him a translator device and a station map. "The Coalition has classified Earth as a moderate challenge environment. This means you will need fewer accommodations than some of our more delicate species." Zeal's 4 hands gestured to various controls. "Rest. Tomorrow you begin orientation." After Zeal left, Alex sat on the edge of the strange bed. "Moderate challenge environment," he muttered. "Earth had seasons that could kill you, predators that could eat you, and countless diseases. But apparently, that was just moderate by galactic standards." The next morning, Alex made his way to the communal dining area. He approached the food dispensers cautiously, checking his translator to find something humans could eat. The Coalition had analyzed Earth food and programmed approximate matches. As he selected a bland-looking protein bar, he felt eyes on him. Turning, he saw a group of tall, muscular aliens watching him. Their skin was gray with patches of red, and they had ridges along their skulls. Their teeth were visible even with closed mouths. "So this is Earth's best," the tallest one said loudly enough for Alex to hear. "Looks soft. No claws, no armor." Alex pretended not to hear and found an empty table. The translator had labeled these aliens as Vrekians, from a world with stronger gravity than Earth, but fewer predators. They were considered a warrior culture. "Human," the same Vrekian called out. "I am Commander Grasstalk. My crew and I are curious. How does such a fragile species survive?" Alex looked up. "We manage." Grasstalk made a sound like rocks grinding together. A laugh. "You are in the wrong place, human. This station is for species who matter in the galaxy." Several aliens at nearby tables watched the exchange nervously. No one intervened. "I'm just here to do my job," Alex said, keeping his voice steady. "We will see how long you last," Grasstalk said. He deliberately knocked into Alex's table as he walked past, spilling Alex's food. A human woman in a security uniform appeared moments later. "Everything okay here?" she asked, her eyes on the retreating Vrekians. "Fine," Alex sighed. "I'm Alex Turner." "Security Officer Lila Martinez," she replied, helping him clean up the mess. "Those Vrekians are trouble. They do this to every new species." She lowered her voice. "But they seem especially interested in you." Alex looked around the alien station that would be his home for the foreseeable future. He had a feeling things were about to get much worse. 2 weeks passed, and life on Epsilon 9 became a daily challenge for Alex. The Vrekians had made him their favorite target. At first, it was small things. They would bump into him in the corridors, claiming humans were too small to notice. In the dining area, someone kept switching his food selection to items that smelled like rotting eggs to humans, but were delicacies to other species. Alex tried to focus on his job. He was assigned to the Cultural Exchange Department, helping aliens understand Earth customs. Few showed up to his presentations. Those who did asked strange questions. "Is it true humans drink poison for enjoyment?" asked a jellyfish-like being. "We call it alcohol, and yes, in small amounts," Alex explained. "And you willingly jump from high places with cloth devices. Parachuting, yes, it's considered fun." The aliens would look at each other with what Alex's translator said was a mix of horror and fascination. One morning, Alex woke up gasping for air. The oxygen level in his quarters had been reduced overnight. He stumbled to the control panel and fixed it, hands shaking. This was no accident. The Vrekians had access to environmental controls through their security clearance. Later that day, he found Lila in the security office. "Someone tampered with my air supply," he told her. Lila's face darkened. "Grasstalk and his crew. I know it's them, but I can't prove it." "Why are they targeting me?" Alex asked. "Vrekians believe in natural hierarchies. They're testing you, seeing where humans fit in the galactic food chain." She pulled up a file on her screen. "I've documented 12 incidents in 2 weeks. That's more than any other new species faced." Alex ran a hand through his hair. "Great, I'm special." "Actually, I think they're afraid," Lila said. "Of me? I'm half Grasstalk's size." "Not of you specifically. Earth was classified as a moderate challenge environment, but some of our preliminary data suggested it might qualify as a death world. The Coalition doesn't use that classification lightly." Alex frowned. Death world. Planets with extreme conditions that produce hardy, adaptable species. Vrekians used to be the only death world species on this station. They enjoy their special status. The next day, Alex found his personal locker covered in some kind of alien slime that burned his skin on contact. He spent an hour in the medical bay, a lizard-like doctor treating the mild chemical burns on his hands. "You should report this," the doctor said. "I already know who did it," Alex replied. In the station's gym facility, Alex tried to work out his frustration. He adjusted the equipment to Earth normal gravity, which was still higher than the station's standard setting. As he lifted weights, he noticed a group of Vrekians watching him. Grasstalk approached with 2 of his crew. "The human tries to build strength," he said mockingly. "Perhaps if you train for a decade, you might match a Vrekian child." Alex ignored him and continued his exercises. "Your silence shows wisdom, human. You know your place." Grasstalk moved closer. "We reviewed the data on your world. Your people fight each other more than external threats. Weak, divided, and soft." Alex finished his set and stood up. He was a head shorter than Grasstalk. "Is there something you want from me, Commander?" "Just observing the newest addition to our galactic family." Grasstalk's teeth gleamed. "We will help you understand your position here." That night, Alex tried to call his grandmother back on Earth. The connection was expensive, but he needed to hear a familiar voice. As he was explaining life on the station, the call suddenly broadcast on every screen in his quarters. His private conversation was being transmitted across the station's public channels. Alex's face burned with embarrassment as he quickly ended the call. He could hear laughter in the corridor outside. Checking his door, he found a small device attached to this communication system. He pulled it off and crushed it in his hand. Lila found him sitting in the dark. "I saw the broadcast," she said softly. "Station Commander Krulver is investigating." "They won't find proof," Alex said. "They never do." Lila sat beside him. "What will you do?" Alex looked at his hands. They were different now, harder, calloused from working in the station's unfamiliar environment. "I'm done trying to fit in." The next morning, Alex didn't show up for his cultural presentation. He didn't appear in the dining area either. Lila checked his quarters and found them empty. She asked the station's computer to locate him. "Human Alex Turner is in training room 7, the computer replied. Lila found him there, sweating heavily. He had set the gravity to 1.2 times Earth normal and was doing push-ups. His face was red with effort. "You missed your shift," she said. Alex stood up, breathing hard. "I sent a message to my supervisor. I'm taking personal time." "What are you doing?" Lila looked at the gravity controls with concern. "Adapting." Alex picked up a bottle of water. "Did you know the Vrikian homeworld has 10% higher gravity than Earth? That's why they're stronger, but humans are good at adapting." Lila crossed her arms. "This is about yesterday's broadcast. It's about everything." Alex wiped his face with a towel. "The Vrikians want to show everyone that humans are weak. I'm going to show them otherwise. By killing yourself in training. The station doctor says increasing gravity like this can damage your heart." Alex smiled slightly. On Earth, some people live their whole lives at high altitudes where oxygen is low. Their bodies adapt. More red blood cells, stronger hearts. Humans are built to adjust to harsh conditions. Lila sat on a bench. "What exactly are you planning?" "You said Vrikians enjoy their status as Deathworld species. They see me as a threat to that status." Alex took another drink. "So I'm going to show them what a real Deathworld species can do." Over the next week, Alex established a new routine. He spent hours in the training room, alternating between high-gravity workouts and studying Vrikian physiology. He requested access to the combat training programs usually reserved for security personnel. Lila approved it, against her better judgment. The Vrikians noticed Alex's absence from their usual harassment spots. Graztok found him in the training room one evening. "The soft human tries to become hard," Graztok said, watching Alex punch a training dummy. "It is too late. Your species evolved on an easy world." Alex stopped and looked at Graztok. "You know nothing about Earth. We know enough. Your world has only a few predator species left. You've tamed your planet." "We didn't tame it," Alex said quietly. "We survived it. There's a difference." Graztok laughed. "Your species needs machines and tools to survive. Take those away, and what are you? Why don't you find out?" Alex stepped closer. "The station's combat tournament is in 2 weeks. Enter your name. I'll enter mine." The Vrikian's eyes widened with surprise, then amusement. "You challenge me. You would not last 10 seconds. Then you have nothing to worry about," Alex replied. After Graztok left, Lila entered the training room. "You just challenged the station's undefeated combat champion to a fight," she said. "Are you insane?" "Probably." Alex returned the training dummy. "Will you help me?" Lila sighed. "Before I joined space service, I competed in mixed martial arts back on Earth." "I know. I looked up your record. Graztok has natural weapons we don't have. Claws, armored skin, and he's from a higher gravity world." Alex nodded. "But we have something Vrikians don't understand." "What's that?" "Earth tried to kill us every day of our evolution. We had ice ages, supervolcanoes, and predators that hunted us for millions of years. We're not just adapted to survive on a death world. We conquered it." Lila looked at him for a long moment. "You're going to get seriously hurt." "Maybe." Alex grinned. "But Graztok is going to learn something important about humans." Word of the challenge spread quickly through the station. Aliens who had ignored Alex now watched him curiously in the corridors. Some placed bets on how quickly Graztok would defeat him. Only Lila bet on Alex. In the evenings, they trained together in private. Lila taught Alex how to use a Vrikian's weight against them, how to target weak points in their natural armor. Alex absorbed every lesson, his body changing day by day. The soft office worker from Earth was disappearing. The night before the tournament, Alex received a message from Earth. His grandmother's lined face appeared on the screen. "I heard about your fight," she said. "Your grandfather would be proud. He always said humans don't need to be the strongest, just the most stubborn." Alex smiled. "I miss you. Show them what Earth people are made of," she said before ending the call. Alex looked at his reflection. Tomorrow would change everything. The day of the tournament arrived. The station's main arena was packed with aliens from every species on Epsilon 9. Many came just to see the human who dared to challenge a Freakian. The combat area was a circular pit with high walls. Different gravity zones could be activated for matches between species from different worlds. Alex waited in the preparation room, stretching his muscles. Lila checked his protective gear one last time. "Remember what we practiced," she said. "Vrekians are powerful but slow to change direction. Their right side is less protected than their left." Alex nodded. "I remember. And their eye ridges are sensitive. A solid hit there will disorient them." "I know." Alex took a deep breath. "Any last advice?" Lila put her hands on his shoulders. "Humans have something special. When we're pushed to our limits, we find a way to push back harder. Graztok doesn't understand that." The announcement system called Alex's name. It was time. He walked into the arena to complete silence. Hundreds of alien eyes studied him. Across the pit, Graztok entered to loud cheers from the Freakian section. He looked even larger in his minimal fighting gear, his gray skin and red patches gleaming under the lights. Station Commander Krelver, a tall blue-skinned alien, addressed the crowd. "This match will follow standard tournament rules. Victory is achieved by submission, or when one fighter cannot continue. The gravity will be set to standard station level, which is approximately 0.7 Earth gravity." Alex frowned. This was a disadvantage. Vrekians were used to higher gravity. He caught Lila's eye in the audience. She nodded encouragingly. "Fighters, prepare," Krelver announced. Graztok moved to the center of the arena, towering over Alex. "Last chance to withdraw, human. I would accept your surrender with only minor humiliation." Alex looked up at him. "No thanks. I'm curious to see what you've got." The Vrekian made that grinding rock laugh. "Your funeral." A tone sounded, signaling the start of the match. Graztok didn't waste time. He charged forward with surprising speed, clawed hands reaching for Alex. Alex dodged left, just as they had practiced, using the Vrekian's momentum against him. But Graztok was ready. He pivoted faster than Alex expected and caught him with a backhanded blow across the chest. The impact sent Alex flying across the arena. He hit the wall hard and slumped to the ground. The crowd roared. Several aliens looked away, expecting the match to be over already. "Pathetic," Graztok called out. "Earth sends us a weakling." To everyone's surprise, Alex got up. Blood trickled from his lip, but his eyes were focused. He moved back to the center of the arena. "Round one to you," he said calmly. Graztok attacked again, this time with more control. Alex blocked some blows but took others. Each hit from the Vrekian felt like being struck with a hammer. But each time Alex went down, he got back up. The crowd grew quieter, watching with growing confusion. By now, most other species would have submitted or been knocked unconscious. After 10 minutes, Alex was bruised and bleeding from several cuts. Graztok was breathing heavily, unused to a fight lasting this long. "Why won't you stay down?" Graztok demanded. Alex wiped blood from his face. Earth history is full of stories about humans who wouldn't stay down. It's kind of our thing. In the audience, aliens turned to each other, whispering. This wasn't normal behavior for a non-Deathworld species. Graztok roared and launched another attack. This time, Alex was ready. He ducked under the Vrekian's swing and delivered a precise strike to the sensitive ridge above Grasstock's eye. The Vrekian staggered, momentarily disoriented. Alex pressed his advantage, landing several quick blows to the less armored right side of Grasstock's body. The Vrekian howled in pain and surprise. Lila jumped to her feet, cheering. Other aliens watched in stunned silence. The human wasn't just surviving. He was fighting back. Grasstock recovered and grabbed Alex in a crushing bear hug. Alex's ribs creaked under the pressure. The Vrekian lifted him off the ground, squeezing harder. "This ends now," Grasstock growled. Alex's face turned red. He couldn't breathe. Blackness crept into the edges of his vision. But he wasn't done yet. As Grasstock squeezed harder, Alex remembered something Lila had taught him. Humans had evolved with a special response to danger, the fight-or-flight response. It flooded the body with chemicals that could temporarily make a person stronger, faster, and more resistant to pain. Alex stopped fighting the pain and instead embraced it. He let his body's natural survival mechanisms take over. His vision sharpened. Time seemed to slow down. With his remaining strength, Alex drove his elbow hard into the spot where Grasstock's arm joined his shoulder, a nerve cluster that Lila had identified as a weakness in Vrekian anatomy. Grasstock roared in pain. His grip loosened just enough for Alex to slip down and free himself. The crowd gasped as Alex stumbled away, still on his feet. "Impossible," Grasstock hissed, rubbing his injured arm. "You should be unconscious." Alex managed a bloody smile. "On Earth, we have a saying, 'What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.'" "Then I'll have to kill you." Grasstock snarled and charged again. This time, Alex was ready. He used the lower gravity to his advantage, leaping higher than Grasstock expected. As the Vrekian passed underneath, Alex drove both fists down onto the sensitive eye ridges. Grasstock crashed to the ground, momentarily stunned. The arena fell silent. No one had ever seen Grasstock knocked down before. "Get up," Alex said, standing over the Vrekian. "I did." Rage filled Grasstock's eyes as he scrambled to his feet. He attacked wildly, no longer fighting with skill, but with pure anger. Alex dodged some blows but took others. A powerful strike to his kidney sent waves of pain through his body. Still, he didn't fall. In the audience, Station Commander Krulver leaned forward with interest. He turned to his science officer. "Explain this. The human should not be able to continue." The science officer checked a data pad. "His vital signs are extraordinary. Heart rate elevated beyond normal parameters. Adrenaline levels extremely high. His pain response seems different." "Different how?" "He's registering the pain, but it's not disabling him as it would other species." On the arena floor, the fight continued. 20 minutes had passed, longer than any match in tournament history. Both fighters were showing signs of exhaustion. Grasstock's movements were slower. Alex was bleeding from several wounds, but his eyes remained focused. During a brief pause as both fighters caught their breath, Alex spoke loud enough for the front rows to hear. "You know what's special about Earth predators? They don't just kill with strength. They kill with endurance." Grasstock spat on the ground. "You talk too much." Early humans would chase prey for days. Not hours, days. When the faster animal collapsed from exhaustion, then humans would move in for the kill. Alex wiped blood from his face. "We're built to outlast, not overpower." The Vrekian attacked again, but with less force than before. Alex blocked the blow and countered with a strike to Grasstock's throat. The Vrekian stumbled back, gasping. For the first time, doubt showed in Grasstock's eyes. He had never faced an opponent who could absorb so much punishment and still fight effectively. Alex pressed forward, landing more strikes to the Vrekian's vulnerable areas. Each blow was precisely targeted to the weak points Lila had identified. Grasstock tried to mount a defense, but fatigue was affecting him more than the human. In the audience, Lila watched with growing excitement. "He's doing it," she whispered. "He's actually wearing him down." The science officer next to Krelver looked up from his readings. "Commander, I believe we need to reclassify Earth immediately." "On what grounds?" Krelver asked, not taking his eyes off the fight. "The human's physiology under stress. It's consistent with evolution on a Class A death world." Krelver's eyes widened. "Are you certain?" "The evidence is fighting in front of us." In the arena, Alex saw his opportunity. Graztok overextended on a punch, leaving his balance compromised. Alex ducked under the blow and used a wrestling move Lila had taught him. He grabbed the Phreakian's leg and twisted, using leverage rather than strength. Graztok crashed to the ground. Before he could recover, Alex locked the Phreakian's arm in a submission hold, applying pressure to a joint that couldn't bend the way he was forcing it. For the first time in his life, Graztok felt real fear as he looked into the human's eyes. "Submit," Alex said through gritted teeth, increasing pressure on Graztok's arm. The joint was at its breaking point. The arena was completely silent. Everyone watched the unbelievable scene. A human, bloody but unbowed, had the mighty Phreakian commander at his mercy. Graztok struggled, trying to use his superior strength to break free. But Alex had positioned himself perfectly, using leverage in a way that negated the Phreakian's natural advantages. "This is impossible," Graztok growled. "You are from a soft world." Alex leaned closer. "That's where you're wrong. Earth isn't soft. It's lethal in ways you can't imagine. We have weather that can level cities, microscopic organisms that can wipe out millions, predators so efficient they inspired our nightmares for thousands of years." He applied slightly more pressure. Graztok winced. "But the most dangerous thing about Earth, it created us. Humans. We're not the strongest, fastest, or most naturally armed species, but we're the most adaptable, the most stubborn. We survive what should kill us, and then we study it so it never threatens us again." The Phreakian's eyes showed understanding dawning. "I could break your arm right now," Alex continued quietly. "But I won't, because humans also learn mercy. Sometimes the strongest move is knowing when not to use your strength." He looked up at the crowd, at all the alien faces watching in shock. "I don't want your submission because I hurt you. I want it because you understand what you're really dealing with when you meet a human." For several long seconds, Graztok was silent. Then, to the astonishment of everyone watching, he tapped his free hand twice on the ground. The universal signal of submission. "I submit," the Phreakian announced. Alex released the hold and stood up. His body ached everywhere. Blood dripped from cuts on his face and arms. But he stood tall. Station Commander Krelver's voice boomed through the arena. "Victory to human Alex Turner." A moment of stunned silence was followed by thunderous applause. Species that had never interacted with Alex now cheered his name. Lila pushed through the crowd and jumped into the arena, rushing to Alex's side. "You did it," she said, supporting him as he swayed on his feet. "You actually did it." Alex managed a tired smile. "Told you humans are full of surprises." Medical staff hurried in with stretchers for both fighters. As they were being attended to side by side, Graztok turned his head toward Alex. "I underestimated your species," the Phreakian admitted. "A grave error." Alex nodded. "Most do, until they learn better." The Coalition's classification of Earth was wrong. Maybe. Or maybe they just don't understand what makes humans different. Alex winced as a medic treated a deep cut on his arm. "We don't just adapt to our environment. We change it to suit us. When we can't do that, we change ourselves." Graztok was silent for a moment. "You fought well, human, with honor." "So did you." As they were carried out of the arena, Alex noticed the science officer speaking urgently with Commander Krelver. Data pads were being passed around. Various alien officials studied the medical readings taken during the fight. Lila walked alongside Alex's stretcher. "They're reviewing Earth's classification," she explained. "Your vital signs during the fight broke several parameters they thought were impossible for non-artificially enhanced species. In the medical bay, doctors from various species examined Alex with newfound interest. One kept muttering about remarkable cellular regeneration, while another studied readings of his brain activity during the fight. "Is this going to be a problem?" Alex asked Lila quietly as doctors argued over his test results. She grinned. "The opposite. You just put humanity on the galactic map in a way no diplomat could. Every species on this station is re-evaluating what they thought they knew about Earth." From his treatment bed across the room, Grasstalk watched the human with new respect. He had fought many species in his career, but none had shown the sheer determination of this supposedly fragile human. The Vrikian commander made a decision. When he was released from medical care, he would approach the human with a proposition. Perhaps it was time for the Vrikians to find allies rather than victims. If all humans were like this one, they would make formidable friends or terrible enemies. 1 month after the tournament, Galactic Station Epsilon 9 had changed dramatically. Alex walked through the corridors and noticed how aliens now moved respectfully out of his way. Some nodded in greeting. Others watched with curious eyes. The official announcement had come 3 days after the fight. Commander Krulver gathered all station personnel and residents in the main hall. Based on new physiological data and observed capabilities, he had stated, "The Galactic Coalition has reclassified Earth as a Class A death world, effective immediately." Murmurs had spread through the crowd. Alex stood quietly beside Lila, still sporting fading bruises from the fight. Furthermore, Krulver continued, "All humans are now classified as Category 1 sentients with appropriate diplomatic and security clearances." This was a major promotion in galactic standing. Category 1 meant humans were recognized as an advanced species with significant biological capabilities. Now, as Alex entered the dining area, he found his usual table occupied by a group of Vrikians. Grasstalk sat at the head, his arm still in a healing brace. The commander spotted Alex and gestured to an empty seat. "Join us, human," he called out. Alex hesitated, then walked over. The other Vrikians made space for him. "How are your injuries?" Grasstalk asked. "Almost healed," Alex replied. "Yours?" The Vrikian flexed his arm carefully. "Our medical technology is excellent, but the joint will require another week of treatment." An awkward silence fell over the table. Then Grasstalk spoke again. "I have been researching your planet. Your people have survived events that would have ended most species. Multiple ice ages, supervolcano eruptions, mass extinctions." Alex nodded. "We're stubborn that way." "The Vrikian High Command has reviewed the footage of our combat," Grasstalk continued. "They were impressed. They have authorized me to propose a military exchange program. Vrikian officers would train on Earth, and human officers would train on our world." Alex nearly choked on his food. "You want to be allies. The galaxy is vast and not always friendly," Grasstalk said. "Better to have the Deathworlders fighting with you than against you." Before Alex could respond, the station's announcement system activated. "Attention all personnel. The Earth diplomatic vessel Pioneer has docked at Bay 12. Welcome ceremony will commence in 30 minutes." Alex smiled. The new human delegation was right on schedule. Later, in the docking bay, Alex stood with Commander Krulver and other high-ranking station officials. The airlock doors opened to reveal 5 humans in formal uniforms. Leading them was a tall woman with short gray hair and confident eyes. Dr. Olivia Rogers. She introduced herself to Krulver. "Earth Diplomatic Corps." The commander performed the formal greeting gesture. "Welcome to Epsilon 9, Doctor. Earth's new status as a Class A Death World entitles you to expanded quarters and facilities." Dr. Rogers looked surprised. "Class A. Our briefing still listed us as moderate challenge." Krulver gestured toward Alex. "Your compatriot has provided compelling evidence for reclassification." As the delegation moved through the station, Dr. Rogers fell into step beside Alex. The report said something about a fighting tournament, but it was light on details. What exactly did you do? Alex shrugged. I showed them what humans are really made of. That evening, there was a formal reception for the New Earth delegation. Species that had previously ignored humans now sought their attention. Alex watched from a corner as Dr. Rogers skillfully navigated the complex web of alien politics. Lila joined him, holding 2 drinks. Not enjoying your celebrity status. Still getting used to it, he admitted. Well, you should be proud. You've single-handedly improved humanity's position in the galaxy. She handed him a drink. Not bad for an average human specimen. Alex laughed. That's the thing they didn't understand. On Earth, even average is extraordinary. Across the room, Grasstalk raised his glass in Alex's direction. Alex returned the gesture. Later, as the reception wound down, Dr. Rogers approached Alex again. I've been offered a permanent diplomatic position here, she said, and they've requested that you join my security team. Me? Alex was surprised. Apparently, being from a planet that wants to murder you is actually a desirable trait in this line of work, she said with a smile. Alex looked around at the station that had once felt so alien and hostile. It now seemed like a place of possibility. I accept, he said. As word spread through the galaxy about the humans from Earth, other species began to look at them differently, not with contempt, but with respect. Because everyone now understood. Underestimate a Deathworlder at your own risk.